Welcome back, VST here, Tech guys. Don't wonder, I have too many devices here. I watched a video recently from Emad Hussein from the In-Depth Tech Review. Respect to this guy, follow him. I'm going to put a link down below to his channel and video. He was performance testing the iPhone 14 Pro Max, guys, and the S23 Ultra, and he really able to put a lot of heat on the iPhone to a point where the iPhone actually failed. He recently redid the video updating his iPhone 14 Pro Max to the very latest iOS 16.4, which is also something that I have on my iPhone 14. Alright, and my S23 Ultra is also running the latest software. Now I know there is a March update, but we don't have it yet in Europe. I want to recreate his approach because I believe it's fascinating, and I want to see it with my own eyes. Will my iPhone 14 throttle? And you know, guys, the Pro Max is even a larger phone, so eventually it should even do better than the smaller phone. So smaller phones usually means that the cooling is also not on par or at the levels that we have here. So for the exact test recreation, guys, I'm also going to switch off the Wi-Fi and connect both phones on the 5G. All right, so 5G SIM card here, 5G SIM card here. You might as well wonder, why do I have these phones here? Well, I'm going to use Teams to connect these phones together and these phones together. Why? Because again, I want to recreate his test and see it with my own eyes. So I am going to share the screen from the iPhone 14 Pro on the iPhone 11 and share the screen from the S23 Ultra to the Galaxy A32 here. Okay, this is going to be step number one. Step number two is going to be me running a UHD video from YouTube in a picture-in-picture mode, and then of course running the Asphalt 9, which apparently got the iPhone 14 Pro Max to die. And last but not least, guys, also run Google Maps navigation. So I mean, it's really very tough scenario. I just want to show you also some details, guys. I have right now 22 degrees Celsius in my room, and I'll also use my digital lux meter to calibrate the screen brightness. Let's calibrate the screen brightness. Okay, 316 here, guys, and on the S23 Ultra is a bit higher, but it's almost the same. So we'll assume that we are running with the same brightness settings. Also, something very important before the test, guys, let's try to measure some temps. All right, here we have 29.9 on the S22 Ultra, and we have 28 on the iPhone 14 Pro. Now, guys, I'm going to connect those phones to the Teams and then continue with the testing. Alright, guys, I have connected this phone to this and this phone to this, and as you can just see, guys, screen sharing works. So I'm just going to demonstrate while I'm going into the recent menu. You can pretty much see what is happening. Okay, Wi-Fi has been completely turned off, guys. As you can just see, we have 5G on the S23 Ultra and also 5G here on the iPhone 14. Okay, what I'm going to do right now, guys, I am going to close all the other applications just to a bit relieve the phone so that they have really some memory inside, and then I'm going to start some YouTube. Okay, and it's gonna really get crazy, guys, believe me. It's gonna be an interesting video, and I really hope to recreate the same results. There are no reasons why I should not get the same results. So let me close all of the open applications, guys. All right, guys, the next step is also on. I am now watching a picture-in-picture video while being on 5G, and by the way, my Samsung already dropped to 4G. Right, I wanted to show you something else, guys. If I go here to the display, I'm using the adaptive motion smoothness here, which means that I can go up to 120 Hz. Same on the iPhone, and I am also using the highest resolution. So I didn't manipulate any setting on the iPhone, so we are trying to use here as max as we can from this display. Now, one more step before we launch the game, and this is starting the navigation, which is going to already put a lot of strain on those phones. Alright, and the navigation is also on, so now I'm going to already go back to my first menu, guys. I believe this kind of test will really take a toll not only on these beautiful phones, but almost on any other device I know. So, alright, guys, here we are. You know that the S23 Ultra is displayed here and the iPhone is displayed here. Those are the settings that I'm using. 60 FPS on the S23 Ultra, also 60 FPS on the iPhone. I'm gonna switch. The iPhone though has 120, so this is really good. Here the game still doesn't have that one, but we are using here the visual quality on high. So I'm gonna go back, guys, and I'm going to initiate the first game. Let's just see how much we're going to get from these phones and really who is gonna die first. Alright, the first round, guys, seems quite okay on both phones. no luck whatsoever. What is even interesting is that the phones that I'm using to broadcast this are lagging. We can also see that the YouTube video is playing, sharing is working. Okay, now for now both phones are holding up, but okay, this is just the first round of Asphalt. I'm probably gonna keep doing this until one of these phones starts to heavily throttle. Let's see. The first race was quite okay, guys. It's time to check some temps reading. 41 for the S23 Ultra and what? 41, it's almost the same for the iPhone. So let's just hit next. It is time for round number 2. Let's just see which phone is gonna load the game quicker. Okay, yep, almost the same here, though the iPhone was a bit quicker, I would assume. Let's pin those cars. And you know, it's so fun, guys, I can hear now the navigation. And I can tell you, this is really putting a high toll on both phones. Okay, the S23 Ultra race is through. 41 on the S23 Ultra and 42 on the iPhone, so I would say about the same. So far, guys, I cannot see any major hassle with the S23 Ultra and with the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I will try to measure also the temperature. So we already have 42.6 on the iPhone 14 Pro and 41 on the S23 Ultra. Time for the third race, guys. Let's just see. So far, no signs of throttling on both phones. You can just see all the animations and all the graphics perform quite nice. YouTube video still playing here, picture in picture. Screen sharing works. We are using 5G, and of course also we are going to the seaside to Burgas with the navigation. So let's just see which phone is going to drop first. Oh, okay. Yep, I see what Emma was meaning, guys. The iPhone is already done. Okay. Let me do a spin. See how flawless the graphics is here on the S23 Ultra, and I think the iPhone, the iPhone is really taking a huge toll on the performance. The S23 Ultra is really like a beast, guys. See, no drops in frames, and it's really weird how they offer 120 Hz if they cannot even do 60, right? But okay, now I understand this is not the real deal, because we are now artificially, wow, 43. We are now artificially killing it. 42, so the iPhone definitely engaging with some heavy throttling here, and it was really trying to stabilize things, but yeah, not so much. YouTube video still playing, I wanna do some more tests to just see, guys, if the iPhone is completely going to die after a few more rounds. But eventually, after the third and the fourth round, it started throttling and the performance was not ideal. So let's just see how well it's gonna go this time. And I'm still testing the S23 Ultra, and you can just see it is rock solid. Okay. Now about to test the iPhone. Okay, rocky start. It's a slideshow. It is a slideshow. The iPhone really is, guys, just delivering a slideshow here, and the S23 Ultra is absolutely flawless, so this is not really playable. So guys, again, I was not really expecting anything else. I really watch all videos from Emad, and I know he's very serious, so I was of course expecting to have the same behavior, even worse. So it's sad to say, but although we have here the most powerful Apple chip, guys, the cooling is probably not on par with the one that we have in the Samsung, because the Samsung is really able to maintain a very steady frame rate. And I'm gonna do one more round just to see finally what's gonna happen. So remember, guys, I am using here highest resolution 120 Hz. I'm also using 5G in both phones, so no Wi-Fi. I'm also playing a video here, UHD video, YouTube picture in picture, and also, guys, I'm using the navigation, so this is really a killer scenario. You can just see the rocky start from the iPhone. It is really delivering a slideshow performance, and this is not really what we expect from a flagship phone. Here, see, it is absolutely not playable. at this point of time, and I'm just rocking the S23 Ultra. Absolutely stable, guys. iPhone really is done. So that's the sad story. This really is to prove a point that we don't really have to just trust benchmarks. They are of course there to measure chip performance, and we know that the latest A16 chip, the Bionic one, is really crazy good, but as also Imad was saying, maybe Apple decided to sacrifice a bit on the cooling, or the cooling is not really on par with what you have, but the Galaxy S23 Ultra is still a beast, guys. And I just wanted to now go back and just see what happens. Let me just exit those phones, guys. Wow, they're really burning my hand. I'm gonna do a measurement here just before I wrap up the video. So we have 41 Celsius for the S23 Ultra, and we have 40 for the iPhone, guys. 72% of a battery. So let me just also go to the main screen. 64% for the S23 Ultra, but remember here we started with less battery percentage. Okay, now gonna close the video, guys. And yeah, if you like content like these, guys, make sure to watch all my other tests. I am now ending this endless call testing here like crazy. Sadly, we have to reconfirm also what in-depth review was saying. Cooling here is not great, and if you really use it under this very severe environment, guys, then eventually it will really throttle and everything is gonna go down. Thank you so much for watching, guys. VST over and bye.